A little girl, dressed in her Sunday best, was running as fast as she could, trying not to be late for Bible class. As she ran, she prayed, "Dear Lord, please don't let me be late. Please don't let me be late. Please don't let me be late." And as she was running, she tripped over a curb and fell, getting herself dirty and tearing her dress. She picked herself up, dusted herself off, and began to run again. As she ran, she once again began to pray, "Dear Lord, please don't let me be late. But please don't shove me either." Welcome to Minds and Souls. I wanted to start off with a little bit of a lighthearted icebreaker because today I want to talk to you a little bit about how do we talk about God and what if people make fun of me. So prior to the start of my faith walk a year ago, I had no idea how to talk to people about God. And I mean, none, zero. It was very uncomfortable. I just didn't know how to do it. And so I didn't. I sort of avoided the topic. But over the last year, as I have delved deeper into my faith and deeper into the Bible and completely surrendered myself, I have noticed that I have found it much easier to talk about God. How did that happen? What changed? I don't really know. But what I noticed is my willingness to talk about God changed. It's not that I all of a sudden knew the right words. It's not that all of a sudden I can start quoting Bible. I'm still at a point where I am reading the Bible. Can I quote it back to you off the top of my head? No. Usually I have notes on my computer here that I'm reading. If I have a scripture that I think pertains to the topic that I'm discussing, then I'll have some notes that I read from. So how do I talk to somebody about God? Well, what I started doing is just bringing it up in conversation. For example, I got on a plane last September when I took my single woman's empowerment trip, aka I hopped on several planes and flew around the country by myself. And on one of those trips, I was heading from Phoenix, Arizona to a layover in Dallas, Texas before coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I walked onto the plane, I sat down, and I started talking to the person who was sitting across the aisle from me. Just normal banter, nothing too exciting, talking about the Patriots. I am a New Englander. Don't hate, I am a Tom Brady fan. So this person asked me, "What's bringing you to Tulsa?" And a year ago, my response might have been, "Oh, I'm just going to visit family or just going to see the sights." This time, however, I decided to tell the truth, which was, I'm on a spiritual journey, which I have been. Now, you can't predict how somebody's going to react to that. And I get that question a lot. What brought you to Tulsa? Why did you move here? And my response has been, I've been on a spiritual journey. Now, here in the South, we tend to be in the Bible Belt. So that's a much more common and acceptable answer here. If you live in other areas of the country or even the world, you may not get that type of just, response. So I didn't know my audience when I met this person on the plane, but when they asked me where I was headed, I just said, I've been on a spiritual journey. And the response was, really? Tell me more. So if I get that response from people, I will start telling them a little bit of my testimony. You can refer back to my video about what brought me back to God. That is a good portion of my testimony, not all of it, but I talk a lot about how I got to where I am now. And so I throw it out there and I let them then lead the conversation. If they want to know more, I indulge. If they kind of shoot me down, okay. I've never been the kind of person who shoves my belief system down your throat. I don't like it when people do that to me, and so therefore I try my best not to do it to others also. But I will put it out there. More times than not, I have had nobody make fun of me, not to my face. There are people out there that you will encounter that just don't believe in God. They're not religious. But there may be a reason that God put you in their path. You may be the person who plants a seed that then makes that person go home and start to think, what were they talking about? I mean, they seemed so happy. They seemed so full of joy. And they said that they got that from God. Maybe I need to look into this. Okay, well, maybe I'll Maybe I'll check out a sermon. It may just be enough to plant the seed for them. So you never know why you're crossing paths with people. My mother says all the time, there are no coincidences. I don't know if that's the truth, but if you believe in a spiritual realm, and you believe that God is all-knowing and all-powerful and omnipotent, then there really couldn't be any coincidences, could there? Because He knows everything that's going to happen before we're even born. He knows every moment of our life before we're even a glimpse in our mother's eye. So if that is true, which I'm starting to believe more and more that there are no coincidences, then every person that's put in our path is put there for a reason. It may just be for a moment or a season, or you may end up developing a friendship. It may turn into a romantic relationship. You just never know. And you never know what somebody else is going through either. You don't know whether this person that has been put in your path may be heading home to take their own life. You just don't know. So if you miss that opportunity to bring up something that has been so important in your own life, you may be missing a tremendous opportunity to impact somebody else's life. One of the things I've also discovered in my professional career is that sometimes opening up a little bit about yourself, even showing a little bit of vulnerability, opens the door for others to share back. It opens the door for others to realize that they may not be alone in their struggle. And so by me being vulnerable or taking a leap of faith and saying, I'm on a spiritual journey, that is more likely going to pique interest than it is going to, result in somebody saying, what? Okay, whatever. And I can say that over the last year, pretty much every response that I've gotten has been positive. Now, who knows? Maybe they went home and laughed behind my back. I don't know. But you know what? That's not my problem. I'm not going to worry about that because, again, if I planted a seed, just a small seed in somebody else's mind about a God that they may not believe in that moment, then I consider that a success. Because who knows? Maybe I will cross paths with that person again someday. I have had a few occasions in the last few months where I have put my story out there, and in turn I have had people approach me, people that I've known for a very long time at a distance, an acquaintance that I met some years ago, and maybe we reconnected on Facebook, and never really talked a whole lot, but just were part of that collective group of people that we come to know as our friends list on Facebook, even if we don't communicate with them. But I've had people like that have reached out to me and said, how did you do it? I have gotten away from God and I'm trying to find my way back. How did you do it? Now that right there opens a huge door to be a witness to somebody else who is feeling lost and in the wilderness. And by telling my story, by giving my testimony, if it gave somebody else a glimmer of hope that yes, I've been through some stuff and I have still been able to come out stronger and better and more faith-filled than I've ever been in my life through all the crap that was thrown at me, then maybe there's a chance for them too. And that, I think, is a thing that we have to think about, is that we are put on this earth by God to spread His word. We're here to do His work and to give Him the glory for everything good that comes in our life. And also to give Him glory for getting us through the bad. So if you are not comfortable in talking about that with somebody, you may be missing a tremendous opportunity to not only connect with someone on a personal and a spiritual level, but you may be missing the opportunity to save someone by bringing them to Christ, by giving them that glimmer of hope and giving them something to seek. Somebody who may be at their wits' end, who may be ready to throw in the towel and give up. By you being vulnerable and saying, in my darkest moment, I turned to God. And you know what? He got me through it, and He brought me out stronger for it. Would you like me to send you a sermon? Would you like me to suggest a reading in the Bible? Would you like me to pray with you? Would you like me to pray for you? These are all very simple things, and they can say no, but you've opened the door, and who knows, down the road, they may come back and say, you know what, I've thought a lot about what you said, and yes, I think I would like you to send me something. Or yes, would you pray for me, please? Because I'm not sure how. So just opening the door a little tiny bit is all you need to do. You don't have to launch into a diatribe. Just give a little snippet of how God has worked in your life. Sometimes that's all it takes. Isn't that funny how often I've been saying in my videos, one small step is all it takes. And that's so true in this situation too, because one small step of opening that door, that line of communication, sometimes is all it takes to open a conversation that you may not, or that other person may not have had, or even considered having, without you bringing it up and saying, God is so good. As far as people who may make fun of you, we have to learn as Christians to have a thick skin, because not everybody's going to share our belief system. You will be challenged. The more you read the Bible, get to know the Word, and seek the Lord for everything that you do, the better you will respond when people challenge you. I think what we have to try to avoid doing is getting all high and mighty and mad and wanting to get up in people's face when they challenge us. We have to be confident in our God and what He is doing in our lives. 1 Peter 5:8 says, and I'm going to read it, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." What better way than to shove it back in the enemy's face, than to not get upset, to not cuss somebody out if they make a snide comment to you, to just pray for that person and learn how to walk away. Not everybody's going to understand or agree with or be on the same page as me with my faith. But the other thing that I'm noticing, especially right now in this pandemic, is that people are seeking. People are searching. They are looking for meaning right now. People are isolated. The enemy is in their head. They are scared. They're hearing all these reports on the news. Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. It's going to help you. It's not going to help you. It's going to go away by summer. Oops, it's summer. It's still here. It's getting worse. There's so many things. People are frightened. So the enemy's going to look for any chance that he can to get in there, burrow in your head. So the simple answer is that I've discovered about how to talk to people about God is to keep it simple. Have you ever heard the KISS method? KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's not very Christian-like. Keep it simple, silly. Let's go with that. Keep it simple. I'm on a spiritual journey. You might be surprised at the doors that are opened by you stepping out in faith and sharing a little bit about yourself and your walk. You're not going to have all the answers, so don't pretend to. I don't know all the answers. That's what this channel's about. We're learning together. We are going through this journey together. So I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the page, share with a friend, and ring that bell so that you get notified of every upcoming video that's released. Take care. We'll see each other again soon. Bye-bye. Forgot what I was going to say. I've gotten off topic. Itchy nose. I don't have an answer for that.